Kaima walked into the high-end jewelry shop, her heart heavy but her face carrying a tired smile. She'd been working here for months, but every day felt like a battle. Her manager, Blessing, treated her more like a servant than a sales assistant. Whenever Kaima made a sale, Blessing found a way to take her commission, leaving her with nothing. On most days, Kaima was sent to run errands instead of actually selling. She picked up dry cleaning, fetched coffee, and even cleaned the vault room while the other workers attended to wealthy customers.
You should be grateful. You don't belong here anyway.
The senior staff weren't any better. They stole her clients, laughed at her simple clothes, and gave her the hardest tasks. But Kaima never complained. She needed this job. One afternoon, as Kaima carefully arranged some expensive diamond necklaces, the glass door swung open. An old woman walked in. Her clothes were worn out, her slippers were thin, and her hair was tied in a messy scarf. The other workers wrinkled their noses in disgust. "Madam, you can't be here," one of them sneered. "This is a luxury store." The old woman smiled, showing yellowed teeth. "I just want to look around," she said softly. Blessing walked over, her heels clicking against the polished floor. She looked her up and down, then snorted.
We don't serve people like you. This is a shop for high-class clients, not beggars."
The other workers laughed cruelly. Kaima's heart ached. She knew what it felt like to be looked down on. She quickly walked over and gently touched the old woman's arm.
"Would you like some water?"
She asked kindly. The old woman's eyes lit up. That would be nice. Kaima ignored the stares and whispers of her colleagues as she brought her a cold glass of water. She helped her sit down and smiled. "Take your time, Mama," she said warmly. "Let me know if you need help." The old woman touched her hand gently. Her skin was rough and full of wrinkles. She looked at her like she was the first kind person she had met in a long time.
Good things happen to good people. Remember that, my dear.
Kaima didn't know why, but her words touched her heart. The old woman finished her water and smiled at Kaima, her wrinkled hands resting on the table.
You are a kind girl, Kaima. Help me pick out 10 luxury jewelry sets.
Kaima blinked in surprise.
10?
Yes, she nodded. I want the best. The finest diamonds, gold bangles, and custom rings. Kaima's heart raced with excitement. This could be her biggest sale ever. Maybe Blessing would finally see her worth. Maybe today was her lucky day. She quickly began selecting the most elegant pieces, carefully choosing sets that matched the old woman's requests. She polished the gold, opened velvet boxes, and even found matching earrings for the necklaces. The other workers stood at a distance, whispering amongst themselves. "That girl is such a fool," one of them snickered. "She's clearly broke," another laughed. Blessing folded her arms and watched with an amused smirk. "Let's see how this turns out," she murmured. After nearly an hour, Kaima laid out the final selection. "Mama, I think these will look great," she said cheerfully. The old woman clapped her hands together. "I'll take them all." Kaima beamed with joy.
That will be 150 million naira, Mama,
she said excitedly. The room fell silent. The other employees raised their eyebrows and Blessing smirked. The old woman patted her pockets, then chuckled softly.
Oh dear, I don't have any money on me.
Kaima's smile froze. The shop erupted into laughter.
Are you kidding me?
One of the senior staff shrieked.
You wasted all that time on a poor old woman?
Blessing's eyes gleamed with amusement. She slowly walked toward Kaima, her expensive perfume filling the air.
You really are stupid, aren't you?
Blessing sneered.
You actually thought this old fool could afford those diamonds?
Kaima turned to the old woman.
Mama, you don't have any money?
The old woman sighed.
I do, but it's with my grandson. He's very rich. I just need to find him.
Blessing burst into laughter. Her grandson! Oh, how convenient! She turned to the other workers.
You hear that, ladies? This homeless old woman is looking for her rich grandson!
The staff howled with laughter, their voices filled with mockery. Kaima felt her face burn with embarrassment, but she refused to look away from the old woman's sad eyes. Instead of yelling or arguing, she simply smiled softly.
It's okay, Mama. Don't worry about it.
The laughter stopped. Blessing narrowed her eyes. Excuse me? Are you really going to stand here and act like a fool? Kaima ignored her. "Here, Mama," she said softly, pressing some money into her hands. "At least take this for a taxi home." The old woman stared at her in shock, her hands trembling as she took the money.
You are a rare soul,
she whispered. Blessing scoffed and took a step closer, her voice sharp and cold. "I warned you, Kaima. I told you not to bring filth into this shop, but you didn't listen."
Onyx Group has a class to maintain. This store is part of the most exclusive jewelry empire, and you are ruining our image. You're fired. Get out of my store.
Kaima took a deep breath, blinking back tears. She picked up her bag, turned on her heels, and walked out of the store without another word. She didn't know why, but something felt different as she disappeared down the street. The old woman stood there, watching her leave with a knowing smile. She had no idea her life was about to change forever. As Kaima walked out of the shop, her heart heavy, the old woman turned to Blessing, her face calm but firm.
You should not judge people based on their appearance,
she said softly.
Kindness is more valuable than expensive diamonds.
Blessing rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, spare me the lecture, old woman." She crossed her arms and smirked. "Do you know where you are?"
This is $1 billion empire for the elite. People like you don't belong to this about there.
The old woman shook her head. "Wealth is not just about money, young lady. It is about the heart." Blessing's face darkened with anger. "That's it!"
Security!
2 security guards rushed forward.
Escort this woman out. Now!
Blessing ordered. "She has no right to stand here and lecture me." The guards grabbed the old woman's arms, but she simply chuckled.
There is no need for force, my dear. I am leaving.
With one last glance at Blessing, she walked out of the shop, stepping into the bright afternoon sun. Blessing smirked in victory while the other staff laughed. Little did she know she had just made the biggest mistake of her life. The old woman halted a taxi and got inside, giving the driver her address. As the car moved through the busy streets of Lagos, she looked out of the window, her mind filled with thoughts. She had seen true kindness today, and she had seen true cruelty. When the taxi pulled up in front of a massive estate, the driver's eyes widened in shock.
"Mama, is this your house?"
he stammered. The old woman only smiled and handed him the fare. She stepped out and walked through the golden gates of her mansion. Inside, everything was luxurious. Marble floors, golden chandeliers, and walls decorated with famous paintings. At the center of the grand living room stood Ikenna, the powerful CEO of Onyx Group. Handsome, sharp-eyed, and dressed in an expensive suit, he looked every bit the billionaire he was.
"Grandmother,
Ikenna's deep voice filled the room as he rushed forward.
where have you been for hours?"
The old woman smiled.
I was testing the world, my boy, and I met a very kind soul.
Ikenna frowned. Testing the world? The old woman sighed and told him everything. How she had entered the shop, how the staff had mocked her, and how Kaima was the only one who treated her with kindness. When she finished, Ikenna's expression turned cold.
"They treated you like that?
His jaw clenched.
They threw you out of our store?"
His grandmother nodded. Ikenna's hands tightened into fists. "That shop belongs to Onyx Group. They work for me. How dare they throw out my grandmother?" The old woman placed a hand on her grandson's arm, her voice calm.
The girl was different. She was kind, and she must be rewarded.
Ikenna turned to his assistant, a sharp-dressed man named Emeka.
"Get me the security footage from the shop,"
he ordered. Minutes later, Ikenna sat in his private office, watching the footage on a large screen. He saw everything. Kaima ignoring the insults, still treating her with respect. Kaima taking out her own money and giving it to her. Ikenna leaned back in his chair, his expression serious.
"Find her."
He said at last. Emeka, his assistant, hesitated.
"Sir, find this woman. I want to know everything about her. I want to see her."
Emeka nodded and hurried out. Ikenna sat alone in his office watching the screen once more. A kind and innocent girl. Who was she? Kaima walked slowly down the street, her feet aching and her heart heavy. She was jobless, with no idea where her next meal would come from. She had given her last money to the old woman, and now she had nothing. The afternoon sun burned her skin as she clutched her bag tightly. She took a deep breath, trying not to cry. Then suddenly, a black luxury car rolled to a smooth stop beside her. Kaima froze. The car was sleek, polished, and more expensive than anything she had ever seen up close. The tinted window rolled down, and a man in a sharp suit leaned out.
Miss Kaima?
He asked, his voice professional and firm. Kaima's heart pounded.
Yes?
The man smiled politely.
My name is Emeka. I am the personal assistant to Mr. Ikenna, CEO of Onyx Group.
Kaima's breath caught in her throat.
Onyx Group?
Emeka continued.
My employer would like to meet you. Please come with you.
Kaima stared in shock. This had to be a scam. Why would the CEO of a billion-dollar company want to see her? She took a step back.
I think you have the wrong person.
Emeka shook his head.
No, we don't. The woman you helped sent me personally to bring you to the estate. You will be perfectly safe.
Kaima hesitated, her mind racing. This was crazy, it made no sense. And yet something inside her whispered, go. She swallowed hard, then finally nodded. Okay. Emeka opened the car door, and Kaima slid into the softest leather seat she had ever felt. As the car pulled away, she nervously clutched her bag, staring out the window. This was the biggest risk of her life. The moment the car passed through the golden gates, Kaima's eyes widened in shock. The mansion before her was massive, the kind of place she had only seen in movies. The driveway stretched endlessly, leading to a grand estate with towering marble pillars and glowing chandeliers. As the car stopped, uniformed staff rushed forward to open the door for her. Kaima stepped out, feeling like she had entered another world.
Please, this way.
Emeka said, guiding her toward the grand entrance. Everything was polished, extravagant, and perfect. And then she saw him. At the top of the marble staircase, standing tall and elegant, was Ikenna. Kaima froze in place. She had only ever seen his face in magazines and business articles, but in real life, he was even more sophisticated, more powerful-looking, and more breathtakingly handsome than she had imagined. Everyone in the city knew that name. Ikenna, the youngest billionaire, the most successful CEO, the man every woman dreamed of. Kaima suddenly remembered Blessing's words at work.
If I ever meet Ikenna,
Blessing had once said,
I'll make sure he falls in love with me.
and now he was standing right in front of her. Kaima felt like she was in a dream. Ikenna's gaze was sharp, but his lips curled into a small, knowing smile.
Miss Kaima,
He said smoothly.
I'm Ikenna.
Kaima forced herself to breathe.
I'm Kima.
She said nervously. Ikenna's smile widened just slightly, as if he found her reaction amusing. Then suddenly,
Ah, there she is. Kaima, my dear, thank you for coming.
Kaima smiled in relief.
You live here.
Oh, yes, my dear. I'm not as poor as I seemed, am I?
Kaima felt her knees go weak. This wealthy, powerful family, and she had unknowingly helped its grandmother. She suddenly felt so small in this grand place. Mama turned to Ikenna and said firmly,
This is the kind of woman you should marry.
Kaima gasped. She laughed shyly, waving her hands.
Oh no, that's not...
But when she looked at Ikenna, she froze. He wasn't laughing, he wasn't smirking, he was just staring at her. A long, silent stare, and for some reason it made Kaima's heart race. Kaima sat in the grand living room of the mansion, feeling completely out of place. The soft glow of the chandelier, the expensive velvet couch beneath her, and the quiet hum of servants moving about. It all felt unreal. Across from her, Ikenna sat with his usual unreadable expression.
I ran a background check on you.
He said calmly. Kaima's heart skipped a beat.
What?
Ikenna leaned back in his chair.
I wanted to know more about the girl who gave my grandmother her last money. And I found out something interesting.
Kaima swallowed hard.
What did you find out?
Ikenna's gaze softened just slightly.
You live alone. No family. No one to support you.
His voice wasn't mocking or pitying, just a statement of fact. Kaima looked down, gripping her dress. He was right. She had been on her own for a long time, but hearing it said aloud hurt. Ikenna sighed and gestured to Emeka.
Bring them in,
He said. Within moments, servants entered the room carrying multiple boxes, large, elegant, wrapped in gold ribbons. Kaima's eyes widened. What is this? A thank you gift, Ikenna said simply, for helping my grandmother. One servant opened a box, revealing designer outfits and expensive silk fabrics. Another opened a second box, It was a luxury jewelry set worth more than Kaima's yearly salary. And then, Emeka stepped forward, holding a small black box. Kaima's breath caught as he flipped it open. Inside was a set of car keys.
A Range Rover.
Ikenna said.
It's yours.
Kaima's jaw dropped.
What? No. No, I can't accept this.
Ikenna raised an eyebrow.
Why not?
Kaima shook her head firmly.
I didn't help Mama because I wanted anything in return. I did it because it was the right thing to do.
Ikenna stared at her as if trying to understand her.
You're refusing a Range Rover?
He asked, as if no one had ever done that before. Kaima nodded. Yes. Ikenna was silent for a long moment. Then to her surprise, he smiled. A small, genuine smile.
You're different,
he murmured. The old woman, who had been quietly watching, suddenly clapped her hands.
Then, if you won't accept the gifts, at least stay with us for a while.
Kaima's head snapped up.
Stay here?
Yes, she nodded eagerly.
I enjoy your company, Kaima. Please stay with me in this house for a little while.
Kaima hesitated. The idea of living in this grand place felt overwhelming, but the old woman's eyes pleaded with kindness, and in the end, she couldn't say no. Days later, Kaima had barely adjusted to life in the mansion when trouble arrived. A sleek red convertible sped through the gates, the engine roaring. The second it stopped, a woman in designer heels stepped out, her lips pursed in irritation. Chidinma. Kaima didn't know her, but the moment Chidinma's icy gaze landed on her, she knew exactly what was coming. Chidinma stormed into the mansion, her heels clicking loudly against the marble floor.
Ikenna!
She called out, her voice filled with fake sweetness. Ikenna walked in, adjusting the cuff of his designer suit. His expression remained cool.
Chidinma.
Chidinma's sharp eyes flickered toward Kaima, and instantly her face twisted into disgust.
And who is this?
She asked, her voice dripping with venom. Before Kaima could speak, Mama smiled cheerfully.
This is Kaima, my dear guest.
Chidinma laughed coldly.
Guest in this mansion? Are you serious?
She turned back to Ikenna.
Ikenna, who is she really? A maid? Some social climber trying to get close to you?
Kaima's hands clenched, but before she could defend herself, Ikenna spoke first.
She is none of those things,
he said, his voice firm.
She is our guest, and you will show her respect.
Chidinma froze, her lips parting in shock. Kaima stared at Ikenna in surprise. Chidinma quickly composed herself, flipping her hair.
Respect? Ikenna, open your eyes. She is poor. She doesn't belong here.
Ikenna's jaw tightened.
And yet, she is here.
Chidinma crossed her arms, a fake smile on her lips.
Let me guess. She's pretending to be innocent while planning to steal your money.
Kaima finally spoke.
I am not here for anyone's money.
Chidinma scoffed.
Oh, please. I've seen women like you before. You act humble, but the moment a rich man notices you, suddenly you're in love.
Kaima's face burned, but before she could reply, Ikenna stepped forward. His expression was dangerous.
Now, that's enough, Chidinma.
Chidinma blinked.
What?
I said that's enough.
His voice was calm but cold.
Kaima is grandmother's guest. You will not insult her again.
I said that's enough.
Chidinma's mouth opened and closed, completely shocked. She had expected Ikenna to agree with her. She had expected him to throw Kaima out. But instead, he was defending her. And she knew one thing for sure. This girl was a threat. Chidinma had always known that Ikenna wasn't in love with her, but she didn't care as long as he gave her access to maintain her luxury lifestyle. The designer bags, the first-class vacations, the expensive jewelry, that was all that mattered. And now, some low-life girl was ruining everything. Chidinma wasn't about to sit still and watch her perfect arrangement slip away. No, she would get rid of Kaima one way or another. She angrily stormed out of the house. Meanwhile, in the quiet of his private room, Mama sat comfortably in her large armchair, sipping tea. Across from her stood Ikenna, his arms crossed.
Grandmother, why did you call me here?
Mama set her cup down and looked her grandson in the eye.
That girl, Chidinma, she's not the one for you.
You've said this before.
Mama cut him off.
If you marry a woman like her, you regret it for life.
Ikenna exhaled, rubbing his temple.
Grandmother, I have no plans to marry Chidinma or anyone else for that matter.
Mama nodded approvingly. Good.
A woman like Chidinma only loves money and will leave when things are no longer smooth.
Ikenna said nothing, but his mind was full of thoughts about Kaima. The next morning, Kaima found Mama and Ikenna in the breakfast lounge. She cleared her throat softly.
Mama, Mr. Ikenna, there is something I've been meaning to tell you.
Both looked at her.
I need to find a job.
She said hesitantly.
I've been here for days, and I can't just stay for free. I need to earn my own money.
Ikenna raised an eyebrow. A job? Kaima nodded. Yes. I can't take advantage of your kindness. I want to work and be independent. Ikenna leaned back in his chair, thinking for a moment.
I actually need a personal assistant.
What?
Ikenna folded his arms.
You're looking for a job. I'm looking for a PA. Seems like the perfect solution.
Kaima gasped.
Work at Onyx Group head office.
Ikenna nodded.
The position has been open for weeks. I need someone hardworking and trustworthy.
He paused before adding.
You fit that description.
Kaima stared at him, overwhelmed. This job, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It would pay more than she had ever earned before. With her first salary, she would become more independent. But working at Onyx Group headquarters as Ikenna's PA, that was too much.
I don't know.
Kaima murmured. The old woman, who had been listening quietly, suddenly grinned.
My dear,
She said gently.
you should take this chance.
Kaima bit her lip.
But
No buts. You deserve something good in life. You helped me when you didn't even know who I was. Let us help you now.
Ikenna watched her closely.
So, what will it be?
Kaima hesitated, then took a deep breath and nodded.
Okay,
She said softly.
I'll do it.
Mama's eyes twinkled with happiness. She had a secret plan. This job would bring Kaima closer to Ikenna, and maybe, just maybe, it would change both of their lives forever. The following morning, Kaima stepped into the Grand Onyx Group headquarters dressed in a simple but elegant outfit. She held her bag tightly, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement. The lobby was huge, filled with marble floors and glass walls. Employees in expensive suits walked briskly, carrying files and speaking in crisp tones. She had never worked in a place like this before. As she reached the reception desk, a woman in a tight black dress gave her a cold stare. "You must be Kaima," she said, eyeing her from head to toe. "Yes," Kaima replied politely. The woman's lips curled in amusement. "So, you're the one who got the PA position." Kaima nodded slowly. Another employee, a woman in a red suit, whispered loudly to her colleague.
I heard she slept with the CEO to get the job.
Kaima's heart sank. Another woman snickered.
Or maybe she's a secret mistress.
More whispers and laughter filled the room. Kaima felt her cheeks burn. She wanted to scream, "That's not true!" But she held her head high and said nothing. Let them talk. She was here to work. She would prove them all wrong. Chidinma, on the other hand, was furious. It was bad enough that Kaima was living in the Benson mansion, but now she had joined Onyx Group, and not just anywhere. She was working directly under Ikenna. Chidinma had spent years trying to tie herself to Ikenna, making sure no other woman got close. She had built an image that she was his future wife, the only woman who truly belonged beside him. And then came Kaima, ruining everything. Chidinma stormed through the office, her heels clicking sharply against the marble floor, her face twisted with anger. She needed to get rid of Kaima fast. Chidinma wasted no time. As a senior manager in the company, she had power, and she knew exactly how to use it. By the end of the day, rumors were everywhere.
She's only close to Ikenna for his money.
She must have seduced him.
She's a gold-digging social climber.
The whispers that had once been behind Kaima's back now became open insults. When she walked into the break room, everyone went silent. Then someone laughed mockingly.
Look who it is.
One of the employees smirked.
How does it feel to climb your way to the top by sleeping with the boss?
Maybe I should try getting close to the CEO too. Who knew it was this easy?
Kaima felt her chest tighten. She wanted to scream that none of it was true, but she knew it wouldn't matter. They had already judged her, And it was all because of Chidinma. The gossip reached Ikenna's ears by lunchtime, and when he found out who started it, his patience snapped. At a company-wide meeting that afternoon, Ikenna walked into the boardroom, his presence immediately demanding attention. Everyone went silent. Chidinma sat at the head of the table, smug, thinking Ikenna had finally realized Kaima was a problem. Instead, his piercing gaze landed directly on her.
Chidinma,
He said coldly. She flipped her hair, putting on a sweet smile.
Yes, darling?
Ikenna's jaw tightened.
Kaima saved my grandmother's life without asking for anything in return. She is more of a human being than you will ever be.
The room fell into dead silence. Chidinma's smile vanished instantly. Kaima's heart skipped a beat. Ikenna wasn't done. He turned to the rest of the room.
If I hear one more word about Kaima that isn't work-related, I'll personally fire the person responsible.
Murmurs spread through the employees. Chidinma's face burned with humiliation. She had never been spoken to like this before. Ikenna had humiliated her in front of everyone. At that moment, Kaima felt something stir in her heart. She had never had anyone stand up for her like that before. She looked at Ikenna, her eyes softening. Maybe he wasn't as cold as she thought. Chidinma marched straight into Ikenna's office, slamming the door behind her.
How dare you embarrass me like that?
She shrieked. Ikenna barely looked up from his desk.
You should watch your tone, Chidinma.
Watch my...
Ikenna, people have always seen me as your future wife. Do you know what this does to my image?
Ikenna finally looked at her, his expression icy cold.
You should have thought about that before you started a campaign of lies against someone to you.
He said sharply. Chidinma's lips trembled.
You're choosing her over me?
Ikenna sighed, rubbing his temple.
Chidinma, you know we were never together.
Chidinma froze.
We have never dated. I never asked you to be my girlfriend.
I never gave you a reason to think we were more than acquaintances.
Chidinma staggered back as if she had been slapped.
So stop being possessive, Chidinma. I have never belonged to you.
Chidinma's hands shook. She had spent years in his shadow, building an image of a relationship that never existed, thinking since he hadn't opposed the rumors before, it would probably become true one day. And now, with just a few words, he had shattered it completely. Without another word, she stormed out of the office, her face red with anger. As days passed, Ikenna and Kaima worked closely together. At first it was just business. Kaima worked hard, ignoring the stares and whispers. But then something changed. Ikenna found himself watching her more than he should. He found himself waiting for her smile. He found himself making excuses just to talk to her. And one evening, as they were working late in his office, he finally said it.
Kaima,
He said suddenly, leaning against his desk. She looked up from her laptop.
Yes?
He hesitated for a second. Just a second. Then said,
go out with me.
Kaima's fingers froze over the keyboard. Her heart stopped for a moment. She blinked rapidly, thinking she had misheard.
Wait, what?
Ikenna chuckled. I said,
Go out with me.
Kaima's breath caught in her throat. Ikenna, the man she had seen in magazines, the man every woman in the city dreamed of, was asking her out. She stared at him.
Are you serious?
Ikenna smirked.
I don't joke about things like this.
Kaima's hands clenched into fists.
I don't know if I can. This is too much. You're Ikenna.
Just what? Just a girl helped my grandmother when no one else did?
Just a girl who refused money because she wanted to earn her own way? Kaima's heart pounded in her chest.
But what about Chidinma?
She asked. Ikenna reached for her hand, his touch warm and steady.
Chidinma is the daughter of my late father's friend. Our relationship isn't what you think.
Kaima searched his eyes, looking for any sign of dishonesty, but she found none. And slowly, hesitantly, she nodded.
Okay,
She whispered.
I'll go out with you.
Ikenna smiled, and at that moment, everything changed. When the old woman found out that Ikenna and Kaima were dating, she was overjoyed.
This is wonderful news. Finally, my grandson has opened his eyes to see what is right before him.
She adored Kaima from the moment she had selflessly helped her in the shop. She had known she was special. But the rest of the world, they weren't as kind. Within days, celebrity gossip sites exploded with headlines. Billionaire CEO Ikenna caught between two women. Is he dating his PA? Chidinma Williams, Ikenna's longtime companion, loses her spot to a nobody. The media frenzy painted Ikenna as a cheating playboy, and the rumors spread like wildfire. Chidinma used this as an opportunity. She went to every reporter she could, pretending to be the heartbroken woman Ikenna had betrayed.
Oh, Ikenna and I have been together for years.
She lied in an interview.
I never thought he would reply.
She stopped dramatically. Well, you know. Everyone understood her hidden insult. She was calling Kaima a nobody, a gold digger. And Chidinma's plan almost worked, until it met the old woman. She was not a woman to be played with. The day after Chidinma's interview, she called a press conference in front of the estate. Cameras flashed, reporters crowded in, and the world watched live. She cleared her throat, her voice firm and strong.
I am here to set the record straight. My grandson Ikenna is not dating two women.
Murmurs spread through the crowd. I want the world to know that
Chidinma has never been in a relationship with my grandson. She is nothing more than a family friend.
she said coldly. Chidinma, watching from her penthouse, screamed in frustration. But Mama wasn't done.
My grandson has only one woman in his life. And I want everyone to know that I only have one daughter-in-law in mind.
She smiled warmly and gestured toward the side. Kaima, standing nervously in a simple but elegant dress, was brought forward.
I want my grandson to marry Kaima.
She declared.
She's the kind of woman Ikenna needs in his life.
The crowd went wild. Chidinma's jaw dropped. Kaima gasped. Wait, what? The flashes of cameras blinded her. Reporters yelled questions. Ikenna turned toward her, studying her reaction. He hadn't proposed yet, but he had thought about it, and hearing his grandmother say it out loud made him realize something. He wanted to marry her. Chidinma, watching from her penthouse, gritted her teeth in rage. Kaima wasn't just taking Ikenna from her. She was taking everything she had built, and there was only one person left who could stop this. Chidinma picked up her phone and dialed quickly. The voice on the other end answered sharply.
Chidinma, how are you?
Chidinma forced herself to sound calm.
Mama Ikenna,
She said sweetly.
you should know a gold digger is
After your son. There was a pause. Then Neka, Ikenna's powerful aristocratic mother, spoke coldly. Explain. Chidinma smirked.
Her name is Kaima. She's a nobody, a social climber. She tricked your mother into thinking she's innocent, and now she wants her to marry Ikenna.
There was silence. But then Neka's voice came through, cold and sharp. I'll be on the next flight home. Chidinma smiled. Kaima had no idea what was coming for her. Ikenna was in his office when his phone buzzed. Mother calling. He sighed, rubbing his head before picking up.
Mother.
Ikenna, I assume you've heard the news. I expect you to fix it immediately.
Neka said firmly. Ikenna's jaw tightened.
There's nothing to fix.
Oh, really? His mother's voice was filled with disapproval. I just arrived back home, and the first thing I see is the media parading some random girl as your future wife. This is unacceptable. Ikenna's patience was wearing thin.
Kaima is not some random girl. I love her mom.
Chidinma, who had been eavesdropping nearby, smirked. She pushed open the office door dramatically and stepped inside.
Ikenna, you know what the easiest solution is?
Ikenna turned to her, his expression icy. Chidinma flashed him a sweet smile.
Just break up with Kaima.
She said simply.
Problem solved.
Ikenna's face darkened.
Chidinma, get out of my office.
He said slowly. Chidinma's smile faltered.
I was just trying to.
Get out!
Chidinma's face turned red, but she had no choice but to leave. As soon as the door shut behind her, Neka's voice came through the phone again.
Ikenna, I'm coming over to your place tonight. We will discuss this in person, and I expect you to make the right decision.
The call ended abruptly. Ikenna set his phone down, his jaw clenched. That night, Kaima sat alone in the mansion's garden, staring at the bright stars above. Her mind was heavy with thoughts. She was falling in love with Ikenna. She could feel it. But now his mother was back, and from what she had heard, Mama Ikenna was not an easy woman to impress. Ikenna walked toward her, his presence calming.
You've been quiet.
I don't want to come between you and your mother.
Ikenna tilted her chin up gently, making her look into his eyes. You're not, he assured her.
But what if she never accepts me?
Kaima whispered. Ikenna didn't hesitate.
Then that's her loss.
Kaima's heart pounded. He cupped her face, his eyes filled with warmth.
Kaima, I don't care what the world thinks.
He said softly.
I don't care about the media, or Chidinma, or even my mother's opinions. You are the only one I want.
He said. Kaima felt tears prick her eyes. She had spent her whole life alone. No one had ever stood up for her like this. Later that night, Ikenna stood in his office, arms crossed, his expression serious as Neka stormed in. His mother was a woman of grace and power, always dressed in elegant designer outfits, her presence commanding. But today, her carefully controlled composure was cracking.
Ikenna, what on earth do you think you're doing?
Ikenna sighed. He had been expecting this.
I assume this is about Kaima.
Neka narrowed her eyes.
You assume correctly. This girl, this nobody, has tricked. Kaima sees your wealth and power. She's using you to climb the social ladder.
Ikenna's jaw tightened.
Kaima is not using me,
he said firmly.
She didn't even want to accept my gifts. She hasn't demanded anything from me since I met her. She works hard.
His mother scoffed.
Works hard? Please. The only thing she's working hard on is securing a ring on her finger.
Ikenna's eyes darkened.
Mother, you don't know Kaima. And if you refuse to give her a chance, that's on you.
Neka clenched her fists.
But I am not leaving her.
Rage flashing in her eyes.
I'm your mother, Ikenna. I know what's best for you.
Ikenna took a deep breath, his voice calm but unwavering.
And I am a grown man, Mother. I make my own decisions.
Neka stared at him, her lips pressed into a thin line.
You'll regret this,
she said icily before walking out of the office. Ikenna exhaled, running a hand through his hair. His mother was wrong about Kaima, but he had no idea that someone else was planning something much worse. Chidinma was losing her mind. Ikenna had never officially been hers, but in her head, he belonged to her. And now that he had chosen Kaima, she had one last move left. She needed to destroy Kaima completely. Late that evening, when no one was watching, she slipped into the family's private jewelry vault. Inside, expensive diamonds, necklaces, and rings sparkled under the dim lights. Chidinma carefully picked one of the most valuable pieces, a diamond-studded necklace worth millions, and slid it into a small bag. Then, with a smirk, she walked straight toward Kaima's bedroom. The next morning, Kaima was getting ready for work when suddenly the mansion doors burst open. Guards stormed in, and behind them stood Neka, Chidinma, and several members of the family. Kaima's heart pounded.
What's going on?
A guard stepped forward.
Miss Kaima, we need you to come with us.
Why? Kaima asked, confused. Chidinma stepped forward, her eyes full of fake tears.
I didn't want to believe it. But we found the missing necklace in your room.
Kaima froze.
What?
She gasped. Chidinma dramatically covered her mouth. I was so shocked when the maids found it. I thought you were a good person, but now I see you are only after the family wealth. Kaima staggered back, her vision blurring with panic.
No, I didn't take anything.
Neka crossed her arms.
I knew it. A thief.
Kaima felt her heart breaking, and then...
Enough!
Everyone turned as the old woman stepped forward. Her expression was calm but deadly serious.
Kaima is not a thief. I know this girl. She has too much integrity for something like this. We are missing something.
Chidinma's face stiffened in panic, but she quickly forced out a sob.
Mama, I know you care for her, but the evidence means nothing. We will investigate this thoroughly.
Neka frowned, but said nothing. Kaima's eyes burned with tears. She had done nothing wrong, but no matter how much the old woman defended her, the whispers of the family, the guards, and the staff all pointed at her. They looked at her like she was guilty. It was too much. With one last glance at Ikenna's room, she turned away, packed her few things, and walked out of the mansion. Ikenna tried to stop her, but his grandmother gestured for him to let her go for now. The following morning, Kaima sat in her small apartment, staring at the empty walls. She felt like she had lost everything. When a knock came at her door, she opened it only to stumble back in shock. Neka stood there, perfectly dressed, her face unreadable. Kaima's heart raced.
Mrs. Benzo, Mama Ikenna.
Neka stepped inside, looking around with mild disgust at the small space. Then she turned to Kaima, her expression calm but cold.
I came to make you an offer.
She said. Kaima swallowed.
What offer?
Neka pulled out a checkbook, clicked her pen, and wrote down a number. Then she ripped out the check and placed it on the table. Kaima's breath caught in her throat.
$5 million if you leave Ikenna forever. This is yours.
Kaima's hands shook. She looked at the money, looked at Neka, then with tears in her eyes, she picked up the check and tore it in half. Neka stiffened in shock.
I love your son,
Kaima whispered.
but I will never take money to walk away. I am not a gold digger.
For a moment the room was silent. Then Neka smiled slightly. It wasn't a warm smile, but it was respectful.
You're stronger than I thought.
She murmured. Then without another word she turned and walked out. Kaima sank to the floor, tears spilling down her face. Was this the end? Back at the mansion, Ikenna had remained silent after Kaima walked out. He had watched her leave, his chest tightening, but he hadn't stopped her because he knew words wouldn't be enough. Kaima had been wrongly accused, humiliated, and cast aside, and the only way to bring her back was to clear her name completely. So while the world thought he had done nothing, Ikenna was already working. He reviewed every piece of security footage from that night. He spoke to the guards, the staff, the maids, and when he found what he was looking for, he knew exactly how to expose Chidinma for good. That afternoon, Ikenna stormed into the estate hall, his presence commanding silence. Chidinma, dressed in an elegant gown, was already there, sipping tea like nothing had happened. She saw Ikenna enter and smirked.
Ikenna, I know you're hurting, but...
Shut up, Chidinma!
Ikenna cut her off coldly. The room fell silent. Neka, the old woman, and the rest of the family were present, watching curiously. Chidinma's smirk faltered. What? Ikenna's eyes darkened with fury.
You framed Kaima. You stole the necklace. You planted it in her room.
Ikenna, that's ridiculous.
Ikenna raised a remote control and pressed play. A large screen lit up in the room. Security footage from the mansion played in front of everyone. There she was, Chidinma sneaking into the jewelry vault, Chidinma taking the diamond necklace, Chidinma slipping into Kaima's room. Gasps filled the air. Neka's eyes widened in shock. The old woman shook her head in disappointment. Chidinma's face went pale.
No.
She whispered, stumbling back.
This is a lie. It's fake!
Ikenna's lips curled into a cold smirk.
Is it?
A guard stepped forward.
Miss Chidinma, you need to leave this estate immediately.
Chidinma panicked.
Ikenna, please. I did it because I love you.
Ikenna's expression didn't change.
You love power, Chidinma, and you chose to frame an innocent person for it.
Chidinma screamed in rage as the guards dragged her out of the mansion. Her dream of marrying Ikenna was destroyed, her reputation ruined. Chidinma Williams had finally lost everything. After Chidinma was thrown out, Neka sat silently for a long moment. Then she exhaled deeply.
I misjudged Kaima. She never wanted money. She never wanted status. She just wanted Ikenna.
Mama smiled knowingly.
It's about time you realize that.
Neka's lips twitched slightly. Then for the first time she nodded. I think, she said quietly, I'd like to speak with her again. Kaima sat in her small apartment, staring at the ceiling. She had refused millions to leave Ikenna, but she had already lost him, or so she thought. A knock at the door made her sit up quickly. She opened it only to find a personal driver in a luxury suit. Miss Kaima, he said with a polite bow.
Mr. Ikenna has requested your presence at a private lounge.
Kaima's heart skipped a beat. Ikenna wanted to see her. She hesitated. Should she go? Then she remembered the way he had always defended her, the way he had always protected her. Taking a deep breath, she nodded.
Take Timmy to him.
The private lounge was unlike anything Kaima had ever seen. Soft golden lights, a beautiful candle-lit dinner, a breathtaking view of the city skyline, and standing in the center of it all, Ikenna. Kaima froze, her breath catching. He looked at her with a soft smile, one she had never seen before.
Kaima, I've been waiting for you,
he said gently, walking toward her. Kaima swallowed hard.
Ikenna,
Before she could finish, Ikenna did something that made her heart stop completely. He got down on one knee, Kaima's eyes filled with tears. She covered her mouth as Ikenna pulled out a beautiful diamond ring.
I don't care what the world says. I don't care about the fake rumors. I only care about you.
Kaima's heart pounded. Ikenna's voice was filled with emotion.
You are the strongest, kindest person I've ever met. Not only have you impacted my grandmother's life, you changed mine.
Kaima's tears slipped down her cheeks. Ikenna took a deep breath. Kaima, will you marry me? Kaima let out a shaky breath. Then with a small, tearful smile, she whispered, Yes. Ikenna's eyes lit up as he slid the ring onto her finger. Then, in front of the beautiful city lights, he pulled her into his arms and kissed her like she was his entire world. Kaima had lost everything before, but now she had found something greater. She had found love. The moment Kaima and Ikenna's engagement was announced, it spread like wildfire. Billionaire Ikenna engaged to ex-jewelry assistant, the modern Cinderella story. Social media exploded. Some people cheered for Kaima, praising her kindness and humility, but no one was more shocked and bitter than Blessing. She was fixing her makeup at the jewelry shop when she saw the headline flash across her phone screen. She froze, staring at the words, Kaima engaged to Ikenna, the same Kaima she had humiliated and fired. Blessing's hand trembled, the lipstick falling from her grip. No, she whispered. That's impossible. Her mind raced. How had this happened? How had the girl she looked down on, the girl she had mocked and bullied, ended up winning everything? Before she could process it, the doors of the shop swung open. Ikenna and Kaima walked in. The shop fell silent as the staff stared in shock at the couple standing before them. Ikenna, tall and powerful, held Kaima's hand, his presence commanding respect. Blessing's throat went dry. Kaima was dressed elegantly, her engagement ring glittering under the lights. The same girl Blessing had once treated like a nobody. Now she was the future Mrs. Benson. Blessing forced a smile, her voice overly sweet.
Mr. Ikenna, Miss Kaima, what an unexpected surprise.
Ikenna's eyes narrowed coldly.
I came here for one reason, Blessing,
he said, his voice sharp as a blade.
Oh, of course, sir. Anything.
Ikenna crossed his arms.
You insulted my grandmother. You looked down on people because of their appearance. You bullied an employee who did nothing wrong.
Blessing's face paled. Ikenna's voice hardened.
I would have fired you a long time ago, but I wanted to tell you myself. Blessing, you're fired. And let this be a warning. Discrimination and bullying will never be tolerated in my company.
Gasps filled the store. Blessing staggered back, her vision blurring. This was it. She had lost everything. As she watched Kaima and Ikenna walk away, Blessing finally remembered the old woman's words. Kindness is more valuable than expensive diamonds. For the first time, she realized she had ruined herself with her own arrogance. While Kaima and Ikenna continued planning their wedding, another storm was brewing. Chidinma, now desperate and full of rage, was not done yet. Though she had been disgraced and thrown out, she still had one last weapon, her former access. Using her managerial knowledge, she leaked confidential company reports exposing sensitive business deals to the press. Her goal? To destroy Onyx Group. If she couldn't have Ikenna, she would ruin him instead. The scandal hit the media instantly. Onyx Group in crisis. Is Ikenna's empire about to fall? Chidinma smiled, watching the chaos unfold. But her victory was short-lived, because Ikenna was already tracking her down. Chidinma was celebrating in her apartment when she heard it. A loud knock at the door. Her heart pounded. She slowly opened it and froze. Ikenna stood there, his face icy. Behind him, 2 police officers. Chidinma's smile vanished. Ikenna, she stammered. What are you? Ikenna tilted his head, his voice cold.
You thought I wouldn't find out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ikenna held up his phone, showing evidence of the hack traced directly to her.
Game over,
he said. The officers stepped forward, placing handcuffs around Chidinma's wrists. She screamed,
No, you can't do this.
This to me. Ikenna's expression did not change.
You don't know what love is, Chidinma.
he said simply.
No, Ikenna, please.
As the officers dragged her away, Chidinma's world crumbled completely. She had lost for good. The day after Chidinma's arrest, Neka sat quietly in the mansion, reflecting on everything. Kaima had been humiliated, framed and tested, but she had never broken. She had refused money. She had walked away with dignity. Neka finally realized Kaima was exactly the kind of woman her son needed. That evening, she called Kaima into the sitting room. Kaima sat nervously. Instead, Neka looked at her with calm eyes.
I misjudged you.
She said softly. Kaima blinked in shock.
My son is truly lucky to have you.
Neka admitted.
And I hope that one day you will allow me to be part of your life as well.
Kaima's eyes filled with tears. For the first time, Mama Ikenna had accepted her. She stood up and hesitantly wrapped her arms around Ikenna's mother. Neka stiffened at first, then slowly she hugged Kaima back. Ikenna, watching from the doorway, smiled to himself. Kaima had won over everyone, and now nothing stood in the way of their happily ever after. The day of Kaima and Ikenna's wedding arrived, and it was nothing short of legendary. It was the biggest event in the country, drawing in royalty and the world's most elite guests. Cameras flashed as luxury cars and limousines arrived at the Grand Cathedral. The floral arrangements cost millions, the chandeliers glittered like diamonds, and the guests were treated like royalty. But nothing compared to Kaima. Dressed in a custom-made couture gown, she stepped out of the luxurious bridal car, her gown flowing like a river of stars, encrusted with pearls. A tiara rested on her head, one specially designed for her, a symbol that she was no longer just a simple girl. She was now Kaima, the future queen of high society. As she walked down the aisle, everyone rose to their feet. The same people who had once mocked her were now cheering for her. And at the end of the aisle, Ikenna stood waiting. His eyes were locked on her, his heart pounding. She was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. As the ceremony neared its final moments, the old woman stepped forward. The entire hall went silent. In her hands, she held a small antique box. "Kaima, my dear," she said warmly.
From the first day I met you, I knew you were special. You showed kindness when no one else did, and today, you are becoming part of our family.
She opened the box. Inside was a rare, priceless heirloom, a golden brooch encrusted with sapphires.
This belongs to the woman who will carry our family's legacy.
And today, I give it to you. Kaima's eyes filled with tears as she pinned it to her gown.
Welcome to the family, Kaima,
she said. The guests erupted into applause, but the most important gift was yet to come. As the reception began, Ikenna took Kaima's hand and led her to the center of the ballroom.
I have something for you,
he murmured. He reached into a velvet box and lifted the most stunning diamond necklace anyone had ever seen. It was called the Ocean Front, a masterpiece of rare blue diamonds worth $30 million. Kaima's breath caught.
This is too much,
she whispered. But Ikenna gently placed the necklace around her neck. He then looked into her eyes, his voice deep with raw emotion.
You are the only woman I will ever love,
he said.
And my love for you is as deep as the ocean.
Kaima's heart pounded. A tear slipped from her eye and Ikenna gently wiped it away.
You changed my life,
he continued.
You gave me something money never could, a reason to love.
Kaima threw her arms around him, whispering,
I love you too.
And then Ikenna kissed her. It wasn't just a kiss, it was a promise. The entire room erupted in applause, fireworks bursting outside. Among the crowd, Kaima's former co-workers stood watching in absolute shock. Blessing and the others, the nobody they had mocked, was now the most powerful woman in high society. At the edge of the ballroom, the old woman smiled, her heart full of pride.
Good things happen to good people,
she whispered. Kaima and Ikenna would have a love story for the ages. 1 year had passed since the wedding day, and the life of Kaima had changed completely. She was no longer the girl who worked in a jewelry shop. She was now a woman with a mission. Kaima stood in the middle of a large, beautiful hall. It was the opening of the Kind Heart Foundation. Ikenna had helped her build it so that she could help people who were struggling, just like she used to. The hall was filled with young men and women who had no jobs and no hope. Kaima looked at them and smiled.
I know how it feels to have nothing.
She said into the microphone.
But I want you to know that your current situation is not your final destination. Always choose kindness, even when the world is cruel to you.
The crowd cheered, and Kaima felt a warm hand on her waist. She turned to see Ikenna looking at her with so much pride in his eyes. He had become even more successful, but he always made time for her. After the event, they drove back to the mansion. As they walked through the front doors, they saw Neka and the old woman sitting together in the garden, drinking tea. Neka had changed so much. She was no longer cold or arrogant. She had become Kaima's biggest supporter. "Welcome home, my children," Neka said warmly. The old woman clapped her hands.
Kaima, come and sit with us. We have much to talk about.
Kaima sat down, feeling the peace of the afternoon sun. She looked at the diamond ring on her finger and remembered the day she gave a cup of water to a poor old woman. It was a simple act, but it had led her to this beautiful life. Later that evening, Ikenna took Kaima to the balcony of their private room. The stars were bright, and the city lights below were glowing.
I have a surprise for you.
Ikenna whispered. He pulled out a small document. Kaima opened it and gasped. It was the deed to the jewelry shop where she used to work.
I bought it for you.
I know how much it meant to
Now,
you.
you can run it the way it should be run, with respect and kindness, everyone who walks through those doors.
Kaima's eyes filled with tears of joy. She thought about how she would hire people who really needed a chance. She would make sure that no one was ever treated the way Blessing had treated her.
Thank you, Ikenna.
She whispered.
You always know what my heart needs.
Ikenna kissed her forehead.
Kaima, there is one more thing. My grandmother told me today that she is ready for a new legacy. And I think I am ready too.
And I think I am ready too. Kaima smiled, understanding what he meant. They were ready to start their own family, to teach their children the same lessons the old woman had taught them. They wanted to raise children who would see the heart of a person, not just their clothes or their money. The world was big and full of challenges, but as long as they had each other and their kind hearts, they knew they would be okay. As the night grew quiet, Kaima looked out at the horizon. She realized that her story was not just about luck. It was about staying good even when things were bad. She had won the heart of a billionaire, but more importantly, she had won the respect of a family and the love of a community. She was Kaima, a woman of grace, a woman of strength, and a woman of kindness. And as she stood there in the arms of the man she loved, she knew that her life was truly a gift. The old woman's words echoed in her mind one last time. Good things happen to good people. And Kaima knew without a doubt that it was the truth. She and Ikenna would continue to build a world where kindness was the most valuable jewelry of all. Their love story would be told for many years, a story of hope for anyone who felt like a nobody, because in the end, everyone is a somebody when they have a kind heart.